Let's go on to our next topic, which is the topic du jour in the nation's capital right now, which is the gas shortage. And no politician wants to be blamed for people waiting in line at the gas pump. Just ask Jimmy Carter. And as one of my friends said to me, President Biden's popularity numbers will be in the toilet if gas hits $4 a gallon. Ron, this week we saw how vulnerable our supply lines are as a cyber attack shut down a gas pipeline that supplies the majority of fuel up and down the East Coast. Who's going to take heat for this?
I think everybody should take heat for this. I think that our vulnerabilities as a nation have been exposed more frequently than we like to admit. We had exposure with voting irregularities. We've had exposure to other cyber attacks. I think that the public, by and large, is expecting our government to protect us from these threats that they're not imagined. They're very real. People have been very vocal about looking for alternative ways to harm how we govern ourselves and how we live in this nation. And the public has an expectation that every 3-letter government agency is fully invested in making sure that the public is protected from these kinds of events. It's not that we have a gas shortage, but that our systems were exposed and violated such that it made it impossible for gas to get to the stations and the communities.
Ron, I hate saying that you just missed the curveball by a mile, because the fact is we have one, here's the problem. We have one pipeline, and we have governors and the president of the United States holding up construction of pipelines across this country. In New York, Governor Cuomo killed a big pipeline that would have brought natural gas from Pennsylvania to New York and Massachusetts. We have our leadership is failing us because they're caving in to environmental nonsense. That these pipelines are vital to our country and our economy.
We've thrived for a long time with that one pipeline. I don't think it's necessarily caving to environmentalists. I think it's recognizing that we have some serious environmental concerns.
You need redundancy in sourcing, Ron. You can't just have one pipeline serving the whole East Coast of the United States. You need more than one. And if you aren't going to allow construction, we're going to have this problem over and over again, not only from the vulnerability from cyber attacks, but from age. These things are getting older and need to be replaced and improved upon.
I agree.
All right. Laurie, this may be a short-term problem, but we got another problem that's on the horizon. This week, the Consumer Price Index rose to 4.2% in April. That's the fastest increase since the recession in 2008. How are voters going to react to what is effectively a regressive tax on their income?
Yes, it is a regressive tax. When you look at how the gas prices are affecting us. I mean, I saw a viral video yesterday of a woman collecting gas in a plastic grocery bag. Did you see that? And she had to, and it was leaking when she picked it up, and then she had to put another bag underneath it. And this is how bad policies come down and reach the consumer. Okay. Bad policies of the past with all of this environmentalist stuff where, the Keystone pipeline now is trashed, is causing people to put gas in their plastic trash bags. I mean, this is unbelievable. I'd like to see Trump back in office.
Well, I know you would, but the reality is that's not going to happen anytime soon. So Ron, what do you think about this increase in the CPI? This is a big jump, and there's people are not going to be happy when they can't go out and buy lumber or for a small building project.
I don't think it's as bad as it looks right now. I think that we're looking at a broad view. We're looking at COVID impacts. We're looking at pipeline shutdown impacts. We're looking at supply impacts. We're looking at all of these negative effects that we've had to deal with and try to manage for the past year. I think as soon as things settle, then everything's going to be just fine. We won't have people strolling down the street with bags of gasoline, and life is going to return to normal. And I don't think that it's further as far as we think it is.
I hope you are right, but I feel like you're whistling past the graveyard on this, my friend, because I am not hopeful. The CPI does not track food costs, and the cost of, if you go to the grocery store, your food costs are up. The CPI does track a lot of other things, including our heating costs, our housing costs, costs of automobiles. I mean, I think we're in a very, very precarious time financially, and we ought to be aware of it.
Yeah, when it comes to 2022, when everyone's voting, the relief funds that they received are going to be very distant. They're not going to remember that. They're going to remember what they're paying now, or what they're paying then for all those increased costs.
Well, Laurie, I know that's what you're counting on, but I'm not sure that people have that kind of a memory. I think, and people vote, they vote their wallets, they vote their pocketbooks. So we'll see what happens. If Ron's right, you're going to be wrong, Laurie. I'm sorry to have to tell you that. Stay tuned for parting shots when we come back from a short break.